Let's start off this part with a game from one of my favorite franchises, Pokemon. Like a lot of people, this series has been a big part of my childhood and of my gaming life in general, being quite possibly one of the most famous and successful RPG series ever made. It's hard pressed to find anyone who hasn't at least heard of it. However, the first Pokemon game on this list is not in the main series. Heck, it's not even an RPG. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Pokemon Rumble! Wow. A lot of the games I've talked about so far have been criticized to all hell by various critics and reviewers, and this game is no different. From the research I've done, this game has been pretty much universally panned across the board, but hey, I'm just having a little fun is all. I remember downloading this game on my birthday, and the Epic Failers and I had a wicked session playing through some of it. And if you've seen stuff by us, you know how it would go down. Now, I guess it's time for me to look at this game objectively. First, the plot. You start off as a Rattata, wanting to enter into the Pokemon Championships. You manage to sneak into one of the competitions, and being a Rattata, what do you think's gonna happen? Yeah, you get your ass handed to you. And so it's time to travel around recruiting Pokemon to take on the tournament. The style of the game is that of a dungeon crawler, like Diablo, Gauntlet, or Dungeon Siege. Haven't I said that line before? But this style is what I think is the game's biggest hindrance. It quickly dissolves into a button masher. Each Pokemon you catch can only have 2 moves mapped to the 1 and 2 buttons. With this in mind, it becomes very monotonous very quickly. I haven't played Rumble Blast, and I don't think I will in the foreseeable future, but I had some fun with this game. Let it slide. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I'm gonna come out and say this. I'm not a big fan of racing games. Don't get me wrong, I can have some fun with these games, but it seems when I play these games, shit like this tends to happen.
Okay, you guys have the track changes.
Okay, I'm stuck.
You're stuck.
Yeah. See, I can't go down. Just
What?
need to go up further.
I'll press minus.
But there is one racing game that I can say I've had a lot of fun playing, and that's Mario Kart Wii. Out of all the games in the Mario Kart series, this is the only one I can say I really enjoyed and really played in general. I have the same sort of fun playing this game as the Olympic Games series, in the sense that I've played this game with my friends and cousins. And when you've played with a bunch of friends, this game is really fun. Every single track is either new or from previous Mario Kart games, and each have something that sets them apart, like graphical design, track design, obstacles, and music. And using items to secure your place in the race makes you feel fucking awesome. The battle modes are also fun, when you take on your friends to see who can steal the most balloons or who can collect the most coins by the end. The controls are pretty simple, but that's what makes them so effective. They get the job done, and nothing more. Also, you gotta love the character roster. Complain all you want, but my main two are the green duo, Luigi and Yoshi. But really, some of the reason racing games don't appeal to me are present in this. Rubber band AI, and of course, shit like this!
Whose idea was this?
I referred to my top 10 favorite franchises video in the Pokemon Rumble segment, and yeah, this entry has a relation to that particular video. Many people question why the hell didn't Metal Gear appear on the list, and my response to that is this. I have all the Metal Gear Solid games, but I've never actually sat down and gave them the game time they deserve. One day I'll sit down and play them. I need to do that with a lot of games actually, but until then, I have Sly Raccoon. At this point, there are only 3 Sly games in existence, with a 4th being announced, and all 3 of these games will appear on the list, starting off with the very first game in the series. First off, I love this game's atmosphere. Everything is very darkly shaded and gives a very dark and stealth-like feeling. The gameplay follows this style as well, with you being required to stealthily maneuver around the environment using acrobatic techniques and encouraging taking on enemies with surprise instead of brute force. And I have to say that nearly every single character is really likable and has some amusing lines. But the reason I place this game as my least favorite of the Sly series lies in a few reasons. First of all, a lot of segments in the game require for Sly to use certain vehicles or crafts to get through levels. This is present throughout the whole series, but I feel it's really not executed well in this game in particular. A lot of them feel either too stiff or too floaty. Second, these sections are unforgiving as hell. You're required to pretty much master the system right from the goddamn get-go, and you are punished greatly for failing. And my biggest issue is in the fact that you have no health bar and your lives are limited. Later games have a health bar and infinite lives, but this one doesn't. And since I played the later ones first, this bugs me really more than it should. To stop this ending on a bad note, here's one of the best parts of the game. With gaming now heavily cemented as part of the mainstream media, there are going to be a number of games that are going to appear in common everyday media. And one of these more famous games, claimed to be one of the most innovative and greatest games of all time, World of Warcraft. Seriously, like Pokemon, it's kinda hard not to have heard of this game. This game is so goddamn popular that there was an entire South Park episode dedicated to it. Now, before I talk about the game, how about I give a little backstory? A few years ago, my brother and I made an agreement that I would create a character in World of Warcraft and get him to level 30, and he would complete the main story of Majora's Mask. While he never lived up to his side of the bargain, I kept my word and made a character, who I named Burn. Now, I was excited first, being a Night Elf Druid trying out this game I had heard tons of great stuff about, and I did have fun. Until it hit me. This game gets really repetitive very quickly. I guess some people would enjoy this style of gaming, but it just doesn't appeal to me. Everything just felt slow and tedious to the point where I would just get bored. Now, the presentation is fantastic, and the music provides a lot of ambience, but in my opinion, if the gameplay isn't up to the same level as the rest, I get bored really quickly. However, I can say that the time I feel this game was at its absolute finest was in group scenarios. Being part of a team of individuals, each having different roles, cooperating to accomplish a common objective, is just one of the best online experiences I have experienced. The system provided allows for strategic operations through large dungeons with plenty of challenging scenarios that requires teamwork and cooperation to get through. So yeah, World of Warcraft is fantastic when playing with other people, but pretty boring when you're by yourself. Okay, I know you've all been waiting for this, so here you go.
Oh, it's a lot better than we usually do.
Alright, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Dragons!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
Well, considering I brought up my brother in the last entry, why don't I talk about his favorite game? Out of pretty much every single Star Wars licensed game, I believe this is the absolute best one. Well, I know for a fact my bro will be watching this at some point, so gotta have some choice words, or he'll hit me. So, the game's plot is that you're some random Federation officer that somehow has some major importance to the galaxy who's on a ship that's being attacked by the Sith. And so after escaping, you land on a planet, and you start off trying to figure a way to rescue the captured Jedi Bastila, and finding a way to get off the damn planet. Then you become a Jedi, and it's time for you to either save the galaxy or assist in taking it over. Part of the appeal of the game is just on how much customization you can give your character, like their appearance, their traits, their attributes, their weapon specking, their combat style, and even what division of Sith or Jedi you'll be, like being a Jedi Master or a Sith Lord. Also, every decision you make has impact on the game's story to make each playthrough unique and enjoyable. One aspect that is highly focused on is the relation between you and the characters. In conversing with your party members, you will uncover backstory and exposition on their characters, and they all provide help throughout. And their dialogue can be pretty funny.
Oh, I get it. Let's play with the old man's head, is it? He's half senile. He'll forget I said anything. Wait, what was this about anyway?
And of course, the game will be loved by Star Wars fans for its numerous subtle references to the movies. And this whole game is only number 86. Now, my reason for this is that I don't really enjoy this game as much. The style doesn't appeal to me. Everything feels too open, and there is a lot to this game. And I mean, a lot. And you can't do everything on one playthrough, which I really love doing, you know? So yeah, this is a great game, it just doesn't appeal to me. Now, let's move on before I say something I'm gonna regret.
What? Mega Man 2? The best Nintendo Entertainment System game, as well as the best Mega Man game? Only number 85 on the list?
Okay. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you would know that I really like the Mega Man series. Hell, I put it on my top 10 favorite franchises list. What else can I say? However, while I really like what is considered the best Mega Man game by a lot of fans, I'm placing it the lowest of the Mega Man games on this list. So, I guess I should explain the reasons I don't like this game before saying why I like this game. To begin with, one of the standout parts of the Mega Man series is the challenge it provides. Each game has unique challenges to provide an experience where you will die a lot. However, Mega Man 2 is easily the easiest one in the entire series. Seriously, I have died more times in a single playthrough of Mega Man 4 than 3 playthroughs of Mega Man 2. The game never really provides you with many huge challenges, and any true challenge can be easily avoided using weapons 1 and 2. And of course, the big one, the Metal Blades. Ooh boy. For those of you who don't know, the Metal Blade is a fast, rapid-fire saw blade that kills enemies extremely quickly and uses little to no ammunition. Sure, some enemies are immune to it, but that doesn't excuse the fact that once you equip this weapon, pretty much all challenge just disappears. Now, how about we discuss some of the positives? This is a solid platformer. Mega Man controls very fluidly, unrealistic as it is. Every level looks really cool, each differing in design and in enemies, making each level feel unique and memorable. And really, do I need to say anything about the music? Mega Man 2 is awesome, but due to some glaring flaws in my eyes, it is prevented from going any higher. I've spent a lot of time you've spent watching this countdown so far talking about games that I find nostalgic. So, how about I go right back to the start, with the first video game I've ever played. Now, the first game console my family ever owned was a Sega Mega Drive, or a Sega Genesis for all the Americans out there, and I remember having 4 games for it. There was a bunny game I don't remember the name of, the Mega Drive port of Aladdin, Sonic Spinball, and the first game I ever played, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. A number of people harshly questioned my selection of Sonic the Hedgehog as my second favourite video game franchise, and my reasoning behind it is how Sonic has been with me my entire gaming life. I mean, take one look at my username and the name I go by. Yeah, inspired by Sonic. And my memories of Sonic begin with this game. When I was growing up, I never actually got far in this game. I could get through Emerald Hill pretty easily, or as easily as a 4-year-old can, but I never got past Chemical Plant until a few years ago. There are two prominent memories of Chemical Plant I have. First... Oh god, no, just give me a minute. I'm almost there, come on! I've done this so many times, just let me do this! And second, Death Speed! But now that I'm older, wiser, and of course, more attractive, I can appreciate this game and its design and the impact it had on the franchise. Each level is action-packed with plenty of enemies to deal with and plenty of emphasis on the speed gameplay, and each has pretty memorable music. Sure, the battles with Robotnik are easy as hell, until...
What is this trickery?
Also, this game introduced some elements I'm glad were introduced into the franchise, such as the Spin Dash, Sonic Super Form, and his main sidekick, Tails. To finish this off, Sonic 2 defined my history as a gamer and is a nostalgic game I still enjoy today. What do you know? There is an NES Mega Man game that I consider better than Mega Man 2. Out of the majority of discussions between the best Mega Man games I've seen, there has been some tension between which of these two is the best, and I'm coming out and saying I think 3 is better than 2. First of all, the selection of Robot Masters in my opinion is better. Sure, Mega Man 2 had Metal Man and Crash Man, and that was it. Mega Man 3 has Magnet Man, Shadow Man, Gemini Man, and Snake Man, all great Robot Masters. The level design is also better in my opinion. Mega Man 3's level design really does provide a greater challenge, with stage differentials like Bees! As well as good stuff like magnet areas, all providing a fair challenge unlike
the police coming straight from the underground.
On the topic of that, unlike Weapons 1 and 2, the different rush forms are specifically designed to add to the level design, allowing for more challenge, which is all good in my book. Also, you get to fight all the Robot Masters from Mega Man 2. Now for quite possibly the most amazing thing I'm going to say about this game. My best weapon in this game is not the Shadow Blade, nor the Magnet Missile, not even the Gemini Laser. It's the Top Spin. No, seriously, this is the weapon I use the most, and the weapon I find the most useful. Sure, there have been rants and tons of videos explaining why this weapon sucks, but if you know how to use it, you can pull off something like this. So, in my opinion, Mega Man 3 is a superior game. It has better challenge, well-designed Robot Masters, great music, and with a little bit of extra technique, can turn a supposedly terrible weapon into something awesome. Okay, I've only talked about 2 NES games on this entire list, and unfortunately, this is the final NES game that will appear on the list, and it's a goddamn doozy. It's about ninjas! As you probably guessed, Ninja Gaiden. Man, is this game just so awesome! I was inspired to play this game after watching the Angry Video Game Nerd's review of the game, which to this day remains as my favourite review by him. To accurately describe this game, I need one word. Adrenaline! Every single level of this game is action-packed, featuring long, excellently designed levels requiring speed, technique, and agility to make it through successfully. As you progress through the levels, it goes from your average difficulty level for a platformer to screaming, rage-quit-inducing insanity! When you turn on the game, you better be ready to get owned hard, because this game does not cut you any breaks, with its most unforgiving being at the final boss, where if you die against any of his 3 phases, you have to— Oh, come on! The only way I actually managed to defeat the final boss was with save states. Yeah, I cheated, but I don't feel guilty about it. This game put me through hell. I'm allowed this! However, it's fantastic and frustrating. Gameplay also comes wrapped in some great presentation, with great art styling throughout the levels and especially in the cutscenes. Wow dude, that's some great A shit. But my favorite aspect is in the music. Everyone knows about the legendary awesomeness of Act 4-2, which you've been listening to this whole entry. But my favorite piece is in the battle with the Masked Devil. I mean, just listen. You can really feel the emotion that's being channeled through this music, which I can't explain because it would be spoiling. In short, Ninja Gaiden is just pure adrenaline. With its amazing gameplay coupled with its design and music, there's definitely something to love here. Even though you will rage quit a good number of times. Motherfucking birds! Go back to Satan's asshole where you came from! Wow. I'm amazed. I am really amazed. I cannot believe I've gone this long without talking about a Zelda game. Well, that streak is ended. With the first of many Zelda games that will appear on this list, the brother game of the 2 Capcom Zelda games released in 2001, The Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Seasons. Now, I know that nearly all of you watching this will have seen the Autarch of Flames video, where he talks about this game and its sister game, where he tears out a new one, but I can't hate this game. In fact, I think it's really great. I mean, this is one of the first licensed Zelda games not made by Nintendo, instead being made by Capcom. And considering that they were making 2 games simultaneously, I have true respect for these 2 games. The other I'll get to later. Taking place in the land of Hollandrome, instead of rescuing Zelda, the plot circles around Din, the Oracle of Seasons, being captured by General Onox and using her power to wreak havoc across the land. Of course, Link needs to acquire the 8 essences of nature to confront Onox. Okay, I admit the accusation of sprites and music being taken straight from Link's Awakening is a standout issue with it, but honestly, it never bothered me that much. While it does take elements from Link's Awakening, a lot of new elements make this game really enjoyable. Overworld exploration functions just as you would expect it to do, and, as is the Zelda norm, the dungeons provide interesting puzzles and item implementations. That's pretty much the reason I place Oracle of Seasons this high. It manages to keep the Zelda feeling, which I find absolutely magical, intact, while adding a lot of new features, like altering the seasons to change environments and having animal helpers who assist you throughout your journey. But the reason it doesn't rank higher is for a few things that irk me. First, the bosses. Excluding the 8th dungeon boss and the final battle with Onox, 6 bosses are ripped straight from the original Zelda, and the other is ripped from A Link to the Past. This is the only place where taking elements from other Zelda games actually bothers me, as while the rest I can justify, this seems lazy to me. And finally, the game style. What do I mean by this? Well, unlike other games in the franchise which have a balance between combat and puzzle solving, Oracle of Seasons doesn't follow this balance and tends to focus more on combat than puzzle solving. While these 2 complaints are really just nitpicks, they're enough to stop it being higher and enough to place Seasons' sister game higher. Speaking of which,